welcome you back to the Students Section, a podcast for students and by student athletes. We're joined by two football standouts and a new co-host. First, over to my left, Tommy Armstrong. Welcome to the squad, a senior in his last academic season. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. Tommy has worked with me on the Red Fox Report, amongst other things, on the sidelines and on the play-by-play radio and ESPN Plus soccer.
Absolutely. Now it's good to check out the student section as well.
It's great to have you, Tommy. And to my right, we have two football standouts, one who has concluded his football tenure here at Marist and one who's just getting started. Please welcome James Kratochvil and Noah Abida to the show. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
It's great to have you here. This is our second football team here in the student section studio. A little different this time. We have Tommy with us, but first, this is a very momentous season for you, right? Mm-hmm. It was a tough season, but one game stood out, right? The Stetson game. We're going to start on a high note. Take me through that win at Stetson.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, please.
Well, just personally, I mean, that was one of the best games that I played the whole year. So that was super exciting for myself, and just to get that first win was us basically going over the hump that we've been looking for all season. And it was great for Coach Willis, new head coach, first year, getting that first win, getting it under your belt. We were super ecstatic in the locker room after the game was over. It was good for the team, good for the morale, and made everybody feel a lot better.
Yeah, so I was back at home watching it through the broadcast because I got my ACL surgery. But just seeing that get them the first win of the season, it was very exciting for me too. Wish I could have been there, but I was super happy for my guys, and it was definitely very fun to watch.
You mentioned, James, sort of a breakout game towards the end of the season, 2 interceptions. You had rookie honorable mentions. Just take us through playing through that game and then afterwards all the accolades, the team morale building up through that. Yeah,
well, I mean, the accolades were great, but really the team win was what stood out to me the most. I love playing as hard as I can, and the interceptions were great, but I don't get those interceptions if the D-line doesn't get there and bat the ball down, or so everybody else isn't covering their own guy. I mean, only so much goes into getting an interception. It's not just me. Everybody else is part of that. So, I'd be wrong to not give credit to everybody else on the team who was there. All 10 guys, other than myself. But yeah, it was a ton of fun being able to break out in a game like that. It was a tough win, and we had to battle through the whole game. And just being a key role and key part in that game just meant a lot to me. And the accolades were great too. But that's all aside from the win was the most important thing.
That was a major win. You say you were watching at home. Take us through the emotional state. You don't have to go so detailed, but up to you, how you felt after the injury and kind of watching your team succeed on your behalf.
Yeah, so I mean, after the injury, it was definitely tough because I knew right then and there that I was going to stop if I got injured again. So just being able to get the surgery and watching the games at home, it obviously sucked because I wanted to be there with the team. But like I said, especially after that Stetson win, I was super happy with the guys. And even when I got back onto campus, just standing on the sideline, being around the team, it brings you up a little bit more. So I was just very thankful to be around the team as much as I could this season.
How are you feeling now?
Doing good. Physical therapy's been going well, so.
But you're not going to be continuing the football career here at Marist?
Nah, yeah, I'm unfortunately done. So I originally came in here thinking that I wanted to do my 5th year, and then after I tore my ACL for the first time, I started to question it a little bit, and then going into my senior season, I wanted to end my career on my own terms, in all honesty, and unfortunately, that wasn't my path. So that's it for me. Yeah.
You think that'll transition in the coaching direction, or you think you're going to put football aside for right now?
I've always kept that in the back of my mind, just because football's it's been my whole life ever since I was 4 years old. So it's definitely tough to give it up. It's something that I am still considering though about going into coaching.
These guys have been in football for a long time, Tommy.
Absolutely. You talked about you got into football at 4 years old. Saw an interview when you were in high school, got into it because of your brother. He kind of just snapped into it. He wants to play football, and you were right on the get-go.
Yes.
How was that, just going right into it?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I would, especially when we were younger, I would copy my brother with everything. So when we were sitting at dinner one time, he told our parents he wants to play football, so I just said me too, because I've always looked up to my brother. So, well, yeah, I'm thankful to have had him especially. And, him and I have been through the same thing as well. He's tore his ACL twice as well. He played football at the University at Albany, and, he unfortunately tore his ACL twice. But, so I'm just thankful that I was able to start at that young of an age due to my brother, just me copying my brother. So, yeah.
Same goes for you.
Yeah, very similar. I mean, I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, so I got 2 older brothers that were both big football players. I got one he's about 9 years older than me, so I would go, as a kid running around the high school games where that's, what I dreamed of doing was playing high school football for my town and playing in front of the whole stadium. And then, once I got to high school, it eventually became my dream to play at college, and my dad previously went here, so Marist was the obvious choice to go here, so I was really excited to play for his alma mater.
You mentioned your dad, but you guys were not originally defensive players at the beginning, right?
Correct.
So how did you get into defense, and how did you switch onto the other line of scrimmage?
Well, so definitely some of the motive was that my dad was a linebacker.
Exactly.
But I loved playing offense. It was awesome scoring touchdowns and getting the ball, being able to do whatever I wanted. But ultimately, I found that real passion when I was playing defense, because it was kind of, the grit and the hitting people hard was where I found the most fun, and that was my favorite part of the game.
Well, it seems like it turned out well for the 2024 Pioneer Football League Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
Congratulations! Can we get a round of applause in the studio? Come on. It's genuinely a great accomplishment for Marist and a great accomplishment for you personally. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And then Noah, for you, standout quarterback in New Jersey, your senior year, 6th in passing yards throughout the state. You're known as #1 public school in football that year you graduated, and then you transitioned to linebacker as well. I know you played it in high school, but what was that like, being the quarterback, a leader of a team, and now you're kind of on the leader of the defense?
Yeah, so the whole reason I got into playing linebacker was my junior year, the spot was open, and I'll do anything to see the field. So I had no prior experience at linebacker, so stepped into that role, and I even played a little bit of running back and receiver on the offensive side of the ball as well. So from my junior year going into my senior year, I wanted to put myself in a better position to play at the collegiate level. So I went from 175 pounds to 215.
Wow.
So yeah, COVID, I was bulking during COVID. So it's just going into college, it was very different because, especially in high school playing quarterback, I'd get pulled out of defensive drills to go throw, and I was more of my mindset was on the offensive side of the ball. So just coming into college, shifting my mindset to the defensive side, only playing one side of the ball was definitely not easy at first, but it went well. It was pretty smooth transition after that, and everything was great from there.
I gotta know. I would say this is the signature student section question that I always ask. You bulked, 35 pounds-ish?
Around
40?
there, yeah.
How'd you do it? What'd you eat?
I would eat a lot. Yeah, so especially during COVID, I was bulking a lot. So it was me and my good friend back home, Stan. We would always go work out in the mornings, and we'd get whatever food was open or whatever my mother was cooking at home. So whatever we had in the house, I was eating a lot.
Anything of note? Anything of your favorites?
Probably breakfast, to be honest.
Okay.
I would have about 6 eggs, bowl of oatmeal, and some bananas.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's a legit breakfast.
Yeah.
That's the way to start the day. Yes.
Pretty big breakfast, yeah.
Anything on you on the food-wise, diet-wise? Anything of note, your favorites or least favorites?
Yeah, I was always big on chocolate milk growing up as a kid.
Okay.
And that's got a ton of calories, and then you got the Fairlife one, so it's got a ton of protein.
Oh, that Fairlife one.
It's fantastic.
That's the best.
Yeah, it's very good.
It makes you feel good. You don't
Yeah.
have any issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, that and sausage as well. I was big on sausage links and bacon. I love bacon too.
So two breakfast guys. You a breakfast
Yeah.
guy?
I like a breakfast, a good way to start the day, but, more into the dinner side, like the big portions at the end of the day.
Yes.
Team meals are pretty important.
Yes.
Bonding time in the morning. You have breakfast before the game, and sometimes at night after the game. What was a highlight of those, both on the camaraderie side and, of course, the food side here in Poughkeepsie?
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure having the chance to eat with your teammates, especially breakfast after you're going through all those tough workouts. You all just go crush a meal together. My favorite one, honestly, was the pregame meals when we'd be in the dining hall, just sitting with your buddies before you're about to go to war, in a sense, So that was definitely one of my favorite moments of playing football here, I would say. So.
Yeah, I agree with the pregame meals. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. Everybody's kind of settling in. It's early in the morning because you got 12 o'clock games, so everybody's up around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Really just everybody's trying to lock in and, get on the same page as everybody else. So it's really cool just, aside from the football aspect, just trying to relax and, communicate with each other and get that day going, the right way.
You're Jersey guys. Mm-hmm. How'd you find Marist? And you like Jersey? Because I always dish on Jersey on the show. I'm a city guy.
I'm a Jersey guy as well, so let's go.
I'm always surrounded by at least 2 to 3 Jersey guys or girls. And, Jersey's Jersey to me. First of all, you like Jersey?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I grew up going down to the Jersey Shore every week or every summer. So that's, Spring Lake is my spot. I still go there now and again. My grandma lives down there. So I love New Jersey. I want to, retire on the Jersey Shore. That's definitely one of my dreams, and I love being there.
Same for me. Love Jersey too, and love the Jersey Shore as well. In high school for football, we had this week called Blackout Week, where there was no football or anything going on. So essentially our whole town would go down to Long Beach Island. Everyone would rent houses and all just spend time together, which was great time. So that's definitely my favorite
Have fun
spot.
bonding down there, I assume.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm a Long Beach Island guy myself, so I love that.
Yes.
Partner,
Great
they've been
place.
going there since my parents were going there since before I was born. So
Really?
keep the streak up. Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's phenomenal.
How'd you find Marist as a Jerseyan? Jerseyan?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I started talking to Coach Rumsey, and I wanted to keep all my options open, and I was also talking to the University of Albany, which is, like I mentioned, where my brother went. So I figured it was done. I was done copying my brother.
Okay.
Wanted to go down my own path, and it was great because I always knew I wanted to stay close to home. I go home all the time. I love being around my family and whatnot. So, being a little over an hour away was definitely a good selling point for me.
Yeah, and me as well. Being close to home was definitely huge. But the main factor that played in was that my father went here, so I really wanted to, uphold the legacy, if you will. And I really, I had some other choices, some smaller Division II, Division III schools, or just to go to, a regular, university. But I really, I love football so much, and the fact that I had another opportunity to play at Marist was just so appealing. I got in contact with Coach Rumsey as well pretty early in my junior year. My dad played with him, so I knew him pretty well. I've seen him a couple times, been to a few Marist games when I was a kid, so that really played a huge factor in me wanting to come here and just, make a name for myself.
It's all about the Red Foxes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you make that move from Jersey, you come up to Poughkeepsie. We mentioned the diets, you mentioned the early workouts as well. So what was that change like going from high school football and now you're here playing college football, those early mornings, those workouts, pairing with making sure you're dieting, putting on weight, getting all that going?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more serious than high school was. So my head coach was very, he prepared us very well for that. Getting up early and making sure you're eating the right things. It was easy because we were at home and I had somebody, my mom would cook me meals. But, when you get to college, you're on your own. So it's a lot of, the discipline aspect is way bigger when you get to school, and just trying to keep that discipline and, you got to take care of yourself. And that was the biggest part of it, putting on weight and, making sure you got to, make sure you get up in the morning and you have no one else to rely on but yourself. So.
Certainly, yeah. The biggest difference that I noticed was just how much faster everyone is, quicker, and especially the game. The game goes by a lot faster too. So adjusting to that was a decent challenge, I would say, my freshman year. But with the dieting, like he said too, thankfully as freshmen here we have the dining hall, so just trying to make sure you're eating the right things and stuff. And as he mentioned as well, just when we're back home in high school, we're eating whatever our parents are making for us. And, we're under their roof. So coming into college, you're on your own, really. So just learning how to combat all of that together while being an athlete wasn't easy at first, but as the years went on, it got a lot easier.
There's also an immense amount of pressure as an individual and as a team. But we had some really good crowds at Tenney this year. How does the crowd impact your performance and your on-field performance?
Yeah, I love the crowd. I mean, it's my favorite part of, off the field, like just the fans, the band. I love the band. I think
the team feeds into it too.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely a huge momentum shift when you make a play and the crowd goes nuts. It's you can feel the energy when you're making those plays, and that it just makes that game so much more important and so much more fun. With having that crowd, it's great, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Super thankful that everyone was able to get out there and watch us play. Honestly, like you said, it definitely helps us out a lot, especially when you have a big play, crowd's going crazy. It just makes you feel a lot better, want to keep pushing through and stuff, so it's very good.
Some of the biggest and most notable games, you have the Parents' Weekend, you have Alumni Weekend, then you have Senior Day, obviously special for you this year, but which game kind of drew the biggest crowd and you felt the most energy out of?
I felt the most energy out of St. Thomas. I feel like that for the team wise, that was one that, we haven't beaten St. Thomas yet as a program, so that was huge. We were trying to, go get over that hump and beat St. Thomas, who was pretty much a powerhouse these last couple of years. And being such a close game, feeding off the crowd for that energy was something that we needed. We knew it was going to be a battle, and they were big, but we had the heart too, and ultimately fell short. But we were feeding off the crowd, and we were feeding off the energy that everybody brought.
That was a close game.
Yeah.
That was a very close game.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think St. Thomas as well. Great turnout from the crowd then, and it was definitely a great game. So, just super thankful that there was that many people there, honestly. And especially when you're in that tight of a game and the crowd's mostly on your side, it definitely helps you out, gives you that extra boost and stuff. So, yeah.
James, we've had a few other athletes that have had parental, their parents play. Kira Croker on the women's basketball team, her mom played here, and your dad played here. Was that, as you were growing up, was Marist always in the back of your head? You said you took some trips here, but where exactly did you, I really like this place?
Yeah, so it was probably my sophomore year. I came on a visit. It was a little after COVID, and I didn't really know that much about it. I knew he played here. I knew he won a couple games. I think he won whatever the conference champion was at that time. I'm not sure.
Maybe I think they were still in the MAAC.
They were in the MAAC, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, like knowing all that and knowing how successful he was. And then I took a visit sophomore and junior year. I think we came to a Drake game, and I'm pretty sure Marist won 10-3. So that was huge. Going to that game and watching them win was awesome. But yeah, just coming up to visit and seeing how beautiful the campus was, and I liked the fact that it's a little smaller than most schools, than the big universities. But I like that it's growing, and the team was just was huge for me. Knowing a couple guys, I know Tyler Rusher. He was here when he's a senior now, but he was here when I was trying to see where I wanted to go for school, and having him being able to walk me around and kind of see what Marist was going to be like. That's when I really fell in love with the campus and fell in love with the team.
Talk about people you go under their wing, know you have a senior here and then redshirt freshman. How have you seen his progression throughout the year, and what type of lessons do you give as a senior leading the squad?
Yeah, so James and I have gotten very close over the years that we've been here together. So, whether it's like lifting together, just trying to build that camaraderie, or I would say the biggest thing is our on-the-field communication that we were doing with each other. We would joke around in the weight room too. We would just practice our call-outs in the weight room and stuff, so that helped out a bit. But yeah, being over here in the summer, we were both here for a good amount of time. So, just being around each other, building that bond and stuff. And especially when I was home for that Stetson game too, seeing him get those 2 interceptions was definitely good. So I think James is going to do well for the rest of his career.
High praise.
Yeah. Noah's been a great leader to me. I've really, taken praise in him being so close to me, and although he's a couple years older than me, we've gotten along fabulously. He's been one of my best friends up here at school, and I love hanging out with him. And like you said, those days in the weight room where we're just kind of goofing around and making the calls to just mess with each other. Those are some my favorite memories. Just those laughs, and then on the field aspect of it, being able to communicate so well, and just being the glue guys of the defense. Being able to communicate to the rest of the guys. He was just such a great leader, and I definitely want to make myself look like him when I'm on the field for sure.
That's very sweet. That's great.
Yes,
That's
thank
great.
you.
It's all about friendships here at Marist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You say there was good camaraderie here, but this year was a new culture shift. You have a new coaching staff that came in, led by head coach Mike Willis. His first tenure, I feel like obviously the PFT, PTF,
FPT.
FPT. There you go. I said it so many times. FPT was the mantra of the season. Fast, physical, together. But from Coach Willis, on my perspective, he really valued the togetherness. He valued the crowd. He valued Marist. Was that something that you felt that was radiating off him?
Yeah, absolutely. He was big on the team meals, making sure everybody's there. We have Football University every Wednesday, and those are just team meetings, culture talks, if you will. Just making sure everybody understands what the main goal is, and ultimately it's to win and build a bigger relationship with each other and connection with each other, and we definitely get that from Coach Willis. He basically just started the whole thing, and then brought in the whole staff, and everybody's bought into that idea of building a culture here. So as when the players buy into it, it's just we won't be stopped. It's once we get everybody fully bought in, we get the freshmen back, some transfers in, build the whole team together, and when it comes to the fall, it's going to be great. And I'm glad we got this first year under our belt, because it definitely was a huge building block for our culture. People
need to realize, and I'm talking to you, we football takes more than 1 year to build a program, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this year, obviously, the record wasn't satisfactory to most of the team, or you would say so yourself. But it takes more than 1 year to build a program when you bring in a whole new coaching staff and you have players that are, leaving, and the players that are here that were not originally, meant for the coach. So do you guys feel, I mean, you're obviously going to say yes because I know it, but you guys feel confident moving forward in the right direction, I assume, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our coaches say it all the time. We have the guys to get it done. We have the talent to get it done, and with all the leadership that is leaving this past season, I mean, they left a huge mark, and we definitely want to uphold their legacy and their name. Although it didn't go well last season, but we're ready to attack next season for sure.
What does Marist football mean to you? Give me 3 words. What does Marist football mean to you?
3 words.
I'll give this one to you so I can think for a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
throw it
right
on
now,
the spot.
too.
Yeah, got to be.
Family's definitely one. Brotherhood, I would say, is 2. And then the third one would be togetherness. All basically going off of each other, but yeah.
That's great. Family, brotherhood, togetherness.
I'd say culture, love for each other, love for the game, and then fun. I mean, football, everybody's here because they love football.
Yep.
Football is supposed to be fun. It's a fun game, and everybody's been playing it since they were a kid. So that's the most important thing, is everybody's having fun.
Certainly.
All those kind of pieced together, and you talked about Coach Willis preaching that togetherness. There's so many events going into football, from the practices to the film to team dinners. What's the biggest event that you thought built your team camaraderie, the moments that you'll look back on the most?
I would definitely say fall camp. Nice thing about fall camp is you don't have to worry about school, so it's just your only thing that you're focused on is football, basically. So just trying to hammer down the playbook and being around all the guys essentially for the whole day, because we're in the dorms together, we're with each other throughout the whole entire day. So I would definitely say fall camp.
Yeah, I completely agree. The fall camp is when the team really comes together, because you got all the new guys, specifically the freshmen. You got a whole new class of 20 or so guys. That's really when you build that camaraderie, because everybody's on the same level, same page of trying to understand the playbook again, and slowly getting back into the grind of 2 workouts a day, or practice and all that. And then really, just being together all day is really what is like the best part about it. You're with your 80 best friends for 14 hours of the day. It's so much fun. I love that part of camp. Is definitely the best part of my year.
You mentioned school. Every athlete has to deal with school. With school, and they could be an academic savant, or they could be here and doing balancing both. What are your majors?
I'm a sports communication major.
Sports communication.
Me as well. I'm sports communications.
You may value football more, but on the educational aspect, how difficult or satisfactory is getting that work completed in the classroom?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I would like taking my classes right after football, because for football we would have it in the morning. So I like taking 11 a.m.s or 12:30s, because if I go home after practice, I'm taking a nap. So yeah. So yeah, I think that was definitely beneficial for me. But managing the schoolwork, you just got to make sure you're getting your work done on time, whether that's going to the library, or even when you're a freshman, you have study hall hours, just going in there, locking in on your schoolwork, because you don't want to fall behind, especially early on as a freshman. So you just got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I would say Noah's a little more mature than me. I don't. My first class isn't until 3:30, so I love to take the nap after lift or after practice, and then kind of like recharge, get something to eat, make sure I get breakfast and lunch in. But yeah, I mean, school is ultimately the reason why we're here. You're here to get a 4-year degree and hopefully move into the job world after. So I'm definitely big on like going to class and making sure I get my homework done on time. I try not to procrastinate as much as I can. Get everything done on time, because ultimately that's the main thing. about being successful, I feel like, in college is just making sure you get everything done on time because, when you get to the job world, there's, the deadlines are the deadline. You can't submit, an article late or else, it's just not going to get published or you get fired. So, definitely the deadlines is huge, and that was big for me to cut down on that and make sure I was getting everything in on time.
You got it.
Okay, go to Marist University. Oh, Marist University.
Yeah.
Welcome. Go to Marist University study spot.
If I really have to lock in, I'm going to the library.
Okay.
Got to be in a nice, peaceful place, not too much noise, and get the work done in there.
James.
Yeah, I would say during the summer, I really like going down by the river. When it's, because it's less windy, it's not cold during the spring, I guess, or early in the season during fall. Just to get your mind, clear, and it's beautiful scenery. So I love going down by the river and just kind of, sitting there by myself, making sure I can, lock in and focus. And it's just like the vibes of it make it, easier to focus in on something.
That's fantastic. I've never heard that. That is genuinely, that's
cool.
That's great. I'll write that down. Seriously. I mean, it gets probably windy down there, but it's
But yeah, I mean, in the fall, the leaves are turning red, and it's still, nice weather in September and even August when I'm focusing on learning the playbook and all that. It's just a nice place to relax.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely the library for me too. Just a nice, peaceful, quiet place where you can just get your work done. Definitely library.
You can get a coffee there.
You yourself?
Me, myself, this could be a hot take, as they say. I like McCann, just one of those tables to the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
I this is crazy. I like the smell of McCann. It's a great smell. It has a cleaning smell mixed with sport. If that makes any sense.
Breakfast sandwiches.
Breakfast sandwiches. Yeah, you'll get a hint of bacon, egg, and cheese every 15 minutes. Maybe a burger that's maybe overcooked. But I don't know. The McCann vibe is my vibe. The people moving. I think it maybe is the
that's
city
the way
in
to
me.
do it, right?
Yeah,
right.
people moving. It's not just people you hear like from the library. I like movement.
Yeah.
I feel like I focus better when I see and friendly faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So back to your guys' schedule. It's truly a schedule where you can never really hit the pause button. Now, although the season's over, you guys still have work to do. Take me through an off-season day in the life.
You can take this one. You've been through it more than I have.
Yeah, so you basically start lifting right when the season's over. You get like a week or two off, and then you start lifting. And then as you shift more into the spring semester, I can give you like a day in the life of spring ball, I would say. You'll have meetings in the morning, go over what you're going to do at practice, and then you'll have practice right after that. And then, spring ball is a little shorter. If you're doing just lifts, we will lift first, and then you'll usually either do some type of walkthrough after it, or some type of meetings. It's basically just dependent on what your coordinator wants to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a lot of it is just trying to recover for the first couple weeks, trying to get back into the rotation of lifting 4 or 5 times a week. That's definitely the biggest part for the first couple weeks because we don't start spring ball until March 31st.
Yeah.
So we got, at least 2 months before, when we came back, 2 months before we start spring ball. So it's really just making sure you're eating right, recovering right, and then, lifting as much as you can.
For a sport that primarily plays at the beginning of the school year, how do you maintain your body, your mental, your strength, really, as, there's a little bit of a lull in the action right now. You don't have spring ball ramp up until that time. You have basically when the season ends, you have winter break. Is there a way for you to just lock in and say, you know what, I'm doing this for the betterment of myself? I mean, I know you've been here for a handful of years. In that lull time, how do you make sure you stay focused?
Yeah, so I mean, I see football basically as my escape, so I like working out and, gearing my body up for another season, or whether that be going to the turf area in McCann or just a field when I'm back home and doing some field work, just got to do your best to stay in shape. And if you love football enough, it's very easy to stay focused on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, similar to that. I mean, you just got to embrace the hard. Football is not an easy sport. It's not for everybody. So if you're not committed to dedicating yourself every day to the sport that you love, then it's just not for you. But going to college is a lot harder. So you just kind of have to embrace it and embrace that adversity. And, the feeling of getting over the hard, days where it's, long lifts, long meetings, like those days are hard. And once you get over that, you feel so much more accomplished. You feel so much better about yourself because you're doing things that you don't want to do. But, at the end of the day, you got to do it. You got to get a job at one day, and, you may not love it, but it's going to be hard. So it helps you learn, for things off the field, and it helps you push through adversity.
Tommy, you notice something? They're a few years apart, but they are very similar.
Yeah.
They are. You guys are you're perfectly sentence finishing. This is great. It's like it's like you know each other very well.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we made a great connection over these last 2 years. We love hanging out with each other, lifting together. We were at the same lifting rack for months at a time, so we built a great connection.
On the 5% of when you're not working, what do? You game? You go out to dinner. What's your chill time?
Yeah, we'll go grab food together, and we'll go hang out at one of our friends' house, just watch some football, just hang around.
Yeah.
So.
When he was recovered, we were big on Fortnite for a while.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, we would play.
So
a lot.
that was our go-to. We would play duos for Fortnite. So that was a lot of fun.
Who's the better player?
Me.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Okay.
I'll give it to him.
He
I've been
plays
off my
no build,
game.
so he doesn't even. It's not even competition.
Back into it. They're bringing in the maps.
Absolutely.
Just came in. You still in?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Play all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
We
something
playing
you,
yesterday.
that you know what they should start? They should start a Marist student athlete gaming tournament. And, when there's a strict off season for I don't know, I would say middle of the year, right after softball is wrapping up.
Yeah.
They should do one big tournament of the gamers in the student athlete area.
Yeah.
If it's Mario Kart, I'm gonna win.
They have a Mario Kart club.
I did. I saw that. I was thinking about joining it.
You should do it.
I think I should.
That'd be a great episode.
Yeah.
When we were here in the summer, we had some game nights in the coach's office. So me and my friend Devontae would hand James some L's in NHL up in there.
NHL, Fortnite, a Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Those are 3 different games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those nights were fun. We would play in the coach's office, and I would bring up my Xbox. A couple other guys would bring their Xbox, so we would play 2v2 NHL, and they got the better of me a couple times. But
Is it usually NHL? Which usually draws the biggest crowd?
the NHL probably gets the most intense.
I would say so. Also.
There's a lot of ego that goes into that.
Definitely.
Do you? Is there? I mean, you've probably been playing video. We've all been playing video games. I'm not 96 years old. We've all been playing video games. Where at what point were you like, oh, these are this is fun. Not there was a point where I was playing video games and oh, this is what I'm just going to continually do. Because you played football, I assume, starting real in middle school. Was there a time where you had to balance school and video games or whatever games you played?
Yeah, I remember, and my dad was one of our coaches in youth football, and he made this thing called the Fortnite Runners Club.
The Fortnite Runners Club.
And it was anybody whose parents texted our coaches or my dad and would say that my kid was playing too much Fortnite.
Wow.
So, and this is probably 7th or 8th grade, he would make us run after practice because we were playing too
It
much.
seems like a story that'd be picked up on a local news station.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy parents outraged at son's Fortnite gaming.
Too much Fortnite.
Yeah.
Turns to physical education.
Yeah.
Go-to landing spot in Fortnite.
Tilted Towers.
Pleasant Park.
Going right to it. Love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love that. Pleasant retail. Got it.
I think Gary Sussman should be in here and answering that question.
Yeah, he's got it. He's
Yeah.
got the moves on.
Yeah. There's this whole atmosphere on this campus that everybody's a student athlete or you're not a student athlete. Do you find that to be true, or do you think student athletes and what is the term NARP?
Yeah.
NARP. What does it stand
Yeah.
for? Non-athlete.
Regular
something like
person.
that.
Something regular person, non-athlete, regular person.
Yeah.
I mean, we've asked everybody this question, but do you think that there could be something more done to merge the two?
For me especially, I would say the freshman dorms helped out a lot. 2 of my best friends here aren't athletes, and I've lived with them every year I've went here. So, just in the freshman dorms, we my roommate and I would just go knock on doors, start talking to new people, trying to make friends with everyone. So, I would say as long as you're doing a good job of that freshman year, then there wouldn't be that much of separation between athletes and non-athletes.
That's a pretty consistent answer that we've had.
You really?
Yeah, a lot of people enjoy the non-athlete side. It's a different relationship.
Yeah.
You're not,
I agree.
locked in the whole time. You get to relax. I mean,
I think it works both ways too. It's a great way to draw support
Yes,
for
yes,
when there are games going on. You know,
Certainly.
get a bigger crowd.
Yeah, and
into
I
it.
mean, just to bounce off of that as well, I give props to those two of my friends that I live with because we're all going to sleep early during the season and stuff, so they're pretty bored. But now that the season's over, we could stay up a little bit later, watch a movie, play some Fortnite or something. So
Were you guys at the basketball game?
I was not.
You was?
It was awesome.
How was that experience?
It was fantastic. I've never seen McCann that packed in my life.
It has not been in your life. 2008, biggest
yeah.
crowd since 2008.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I love, the atmosphere was great. Everybody was pretty much on their feet for most of the game, and the crowd was always involved for the whole game. It seemed like it was getting a little too close, but then Marist would pull away, and it was great. The atmosphere was awesome.
Marist beat a 5-point victory in what was a sold-out crowd at McCann last week. It'll be a week and a half from when this comes out. That game, I think, could be the best game in the last 15 years at this school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then another big one Saturday against Iona, hosting them, big rival. So hopefully draw another crowd like that.
How have you seen some of the success of basketball? Just, there's a lot of people want Marist sports to succeed, right? They come to every game. You have a lot of alumni. You have a lot of donors that come to the game, and they vouch for everybody. Is that something you see? Because everybody comes to these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, specifically for the teams, we try to support each other as much as possible. I live with a lacrosse player, so he's always telling me he's going to come see the game or watch it on TV. So we love supporting each other. There's another lacrosse game on Saturday, so I'm going to try to get some football guys to go that as well. Just from the team aspect, it builds the culture of Marist programs rather than just the team itself. So supporting each other and being happy when everybody's successful, especially for the basketball team being so great this year, it's awesome to see.
Yeah, certainly. We tried doing that last spring as well, where we got a bunch of the football guys to go support both lacrosse teams that we have. And I think it's a great thing if we're all just supporting each other, going to all of our games and events. Like I said earlier, helps the crowd out a little bit too. So
non-football, what's your favorite Marist sporting event to go to?
probably basketball.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree. About basketball and lacrosse, and I was never a lacrosse player, but I love the game. I love how fast-paced it is, and they hit just as hard in lacrosse as they do in football, so I love that part of the game. But I grew up a basketball player, so I'm a little biased, so I love playing basketball.
Same with you. I recently, in the last 2 years, I've learned lacrosse, and it's a very intense sport. They play it so physical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So two great players, one whose career is going to be going to the end. If you could wrap up your Marist experience, how would you say it ended?
I obviously fell short, being that I got injured in the second game, but in retrospect, I'm eternally grateful that I was able to play the game for as long as I did. Some people, or most people, just hang the cleats up after high school. So the fact that I was able to play for 4 years in college, I'm so thankful for that. So
Thankful, and for you as your career just starts on its uphill, trajectory. Player of the year on the defensive end. What would you say going forward is what you're going to be thinking about?
I'm really, every day I wake up, I'm grateful for the opportunity to do what I do. And, not everybody gets to play football in college. I'm one of the few of kids from my high school. So I'm just completely grateful to be able to wake up and still play the game that I've loved since I was a little kid. I mean, it's the most fun I've ever had playing football, being with the team. Hopefully stepping into that leader role is one thing that I look forward to next year, and just being a vocal guy on the team and just being a leader is definitely one of the big things.
So grateful and thankful. Two very similar answers from two very similar student athletes. Guys, thank you for joining us. And Tommy, it's great to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, spring ball starts soon.
Yep.
Can fans go to those games?
Oh yeah.
They can go to those games.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
come out for the
Spring
spring
game.
ball games.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
out for the spring ball games. Great to have you guys.
Thank you
so
very much.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back with a new segment with Aidan Lavin. Stay tuned. We welcome you back. New segment, new guy, a lot of new faces. It's Aidan Asks. Aidan Lavin joins us in the middle chair, fresh out of 1962. We're going new school here, but we have a whole new student section panel. Let's meet them. They'll introduce themselves, starting on the far side.
I'm Matt. I'm a senior, and I'm a sports comm journalism major.
Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Marist University. I'm a sophomore, and I'm also a sports comm major.
Even better.
I'm Tyler Stimler. I'm a senior, and I am also a sports comm major.
Sports comm major. Where?
I'm Cece Brown. I'm a sophomore, and I'm also a sports comm major.
Okay. Aidan?
I am Josh Chrysler. Unfortunately, I'm not Josh, but I'm Aidan. I was formerly the co-host. Tommy has now taken my position. I am filling in for Josh, who graduated over the winter. Happy to be here. We're going to talk about some things in the professional world. Before we get there, great conversation you guys had with James and Noah. I think obviously the aspect of them being one younger, one older was super interesting. Both New Jersey guys, which I heard you talking about in a negative manner. We'll let that slide. Tommy and I were on the same page with that. But James being from my hometown, I grew up actually friends with his brother, Matt. And it's cool to see him now on this couch, and Noah did a great job as well. I think football program, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that. Seems to be going in the right trajectory with Mike Willis. Anyone have any thoughts about that?
Well, as a cheerleader, like I watch them a lot. I have to stand on the sidelines and I feel their energy when they're doing really good, and we're there to motivate them. So when they were talking about the crowd and how that really motivates them a lot, we do feel it a lot when we are screaming for them, telling them to go and go and go, and then they're not listening, but they feel the energy that we're giving to them. So I hope that going into next season, they take that energy that everyone really wants them to win, and they take it and they run with it.
And for those who don't know, Cece, serious cheerleader, out indefinitely, unfortunately for now.
Yeah.
But when you get on that field, right?
Yeah.
That you want them to succeed.
Yeah.
It's a backwards.
It's we cry when they lose. Last
you
season.
had a lot of tears last year.
I didn't cry, but there were tears because it's just sad watching them. They try really, really hard, and we have friends on the team, people that we were super close with, not winning and not doing what they wanted to do, and it's upsetting when they do it, but when they win, we also win. You know what I mean? Since we're not really going against other people.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
The circle of football life. Any thoughts over there?
Yeah, I thought you guys made a great point earlier when I think it was you, Will, that said that the team doesn't start being good when a new coach comes in. There's a whole new staff. There's a whole new guidelines that they're following, new rules. Everything is different, and it's really hard to come in as a new head coach and take over and just start winning right away. So I think that there's going to be a lot of changes. I think Coach Willis learned a lot from this season and things that he's going to change next season, but I definitely think that they're trending in the right direction.
I mean, I grew up with Noah Abida. He lived 5 houses up from me. So if you knew Wayne Hills football, you knew Noah Abida. And then seeing him come here and pave his own way, I mean, it's hard with so many injuries, but I'm proud of him, and it was so cool to hear about his legacy here.
Oh, there's connections. How about that?
North Jersey's a small area.
Sure.
Jersey's the hub, apparently.
Yeah, it's a
Shout out
place to
Randolph.
be.
Are you New York?
Am I New York? Oh, I'm New York.
All right.
I'm New York.
And he
We're
lets
good.
you know about it.
Jersey?
I'm New York. I'm local. I'm very local.
So we're
Where-
even.
where?
We're
Fishkill?
Fishkill. Yep.
Whoa! I knew that.
Is it 3v3 right now?
Jersey,
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. We'll get
Oh.
into that in a second,
Oh.
probably, right? Any thoughts on the Marist football team?
I mean, growing up locally, it always felt like nobody was talking about Marist sports at all.
That's
And now, with football and basketball especially, I mean, you go to Walmart wearing Marist merch, and all of a sudden people are asking you about how many games you've gone to, what their record's looking like, and it's really cool to see that.
It's funny to think about, even outside the campus bubble, because he's a local guy, so having that perspective and being able to hear what Pokles, as they say.
Pokles at Walmart.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh gosh.
I'm sure that's an interesting scene.
Yeah.
Anywho, now that I'm in this chair that I picked out from my grandma's basement, I'm gonna ask you guys. You talked about how long it takes to build a program, Ty, and obviously, Will, you asked that during the interview segment. So now that this show is being recorded, we do a little editing magic. The Super Bowl will have already happened. It hasn't happened yet.
Wait, watch this. No way they won.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Chiefs obviously have won 2 in a row so far. They're looking to three-peat.
No.
The question that I am posing to all of you is, and then Mahomes also, speaking of, a few Marist students are at the Super Bowl
Yes.
Media Week
That's
right now.
insane.
Yeah.
Mahomes was asked a question, I don't think by a Marist student, but regardless, they're there. And Mahomes was talking about how he embraces the villain role and how it's important for him, if they're winning and it becomes him being a villain, then so be it. I mean, he wants to, Jaden Collins Roberts, he wants to,
So be it, guys. Cop your merch.
there you go. He wants to be okay with being the villain if he is winning, and all that's okay. He doesn't need to be the good guy in this situation. So my question from a fan perspective is, what do you think is more impressive? The three-peat, and let's just assume the Chiefs, they run out of gas and for whatever reason they never come back again, which I don't think will personally happen. Or would it be a longer dynastic run where, let's say, Tom Brady or the Warriors, they're winning multiple championships in the span of, say, 10 years? Which do you think is more impressive?
I mean, along the lines of Mahomes, LeBron James, Michael Phelps, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Rick Smits. Appreciate greatness.
Yep.
Right? You've got to appreciate greatness here. And what Patrick Mahomes is doing, Travis Kelce, whatever he is on the on the sidelines with
Taylor
Taylor
Swift.
Swift and all those, songs. It
Taylor
doesn't
Swift
really
aside,
matter.
Super
You
Bowl.
got to appreciate greatness, right? The guy is unbelievable. The team is unbelievable. Andy Reid, shades of Don Shula. What are we talking about here?
Yep.
Appreciate greatness. If they could do this for 4 more years, let them do it. LeBron James is 40 years old.
Yep.
He's averaging 25 points. It's fun to watch. As a consumer, you got to enjoy it. So what? They're villains. He was not always a villain. He's a good guy, Patrick Mahomes. His father, I don't know, right? His brother, I don't know.
No.
Patrick Mahomes is a good guy. It's fun to see him succeed. It's fun to see the team succeed. And I know people hate him, the Philly fans, Giants fans, whatever. You hate them. I disagree. Watch them play. Watch them win. And this will keep going. It's good for the NFL. It's good for the fan base.
I think it's going to be the same thing what happened with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Everyone hated them the first few years. Now everyone looks back and they're like, oh, I miss it, and Gronk and Brady. It's the same thing. Now everybody has respect for Brady. How could you not? And I think we're going to look back in 5 or 6 years when Patrick Mahomes does the same thing, and we're going to say, you know what, like, we were wrong. And it was the same thing.
Well, I, for one, can't stand Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a bum. I hate everything about him.
That's
I think
some
he's
strong
Kermit the
language.
Frog. There's just so many things about him I dislike. How every time he gets hit, he complains about something. The camera pans to him, and he's throwing his hands up, and I just don't like it. I like the humble quarterbacks, like guys like Lamar and people that are humble but also are playing really well. I mean, I respect his game completely. I think he's one of the best, if not going to be the best soon. But I don't like a lot of things that he does, and I don't want to see him win again.
Where do you find the humbleness ending on his behalf? Like, where do you see him not being humble?
The complaining about everything. I mean, you can complain about a controversial call, but I just feel like it's just tons of times throughout the game he's just complaining about something, and it's just very annoying as a fan of the NFL to see that. It's not fun to watch.
I don't know. You think he complains a lot?
Kind of. I think with all the ref stuff obviously coming out, it seems like even with one call, even if it's not that controversial, it's going to be controversial to somebody just because it's happened so many times. But I think a lot of people just have like Mahomes fatigue. Like they're sick of him seeing him win. They're sick of him always going to the Super Bowl, always winning the Super Bowl MVP, always seeing his face, always seeing Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. And, I mean, he's great. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is living proof of greatness. Like, I don't think you could replicate that.
You could replicate it by getting a bundle Rooski, right?
That's right. Bundle Rooski.
But Patrick Mahomes wasn't coming into the draft when he was drafted as like this next big guy. He wasn't the first pick. I believe he was the mid-first round.
That's
right?
how Tom Brady was.
Yeah, Tom Brady was even
later.
I mean, it's an
Later.
inspirational story.
And
That's
my
where
best friend, Brock Purdy.
System quarterback.
So it seems like we have a few different sides here, whether or not a dynasty is good for sports, regardless of the sport. It doesn't have to be NFL, and it's not Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. It's a team thing. So obviously you mentioned how people get a little tired of the Chiefs continuing to be at the top and in the championship game all the time or in the Super Bowl. And I think obviously that's relevant, but to your point, it's about greatness, embracing the greatness. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think about dynasties in general. Chiefs, Patriots aside, just are dynasties good for whatever professional sports league it's in?
I honestly think yes. I think yes, just because I think of all the other sports, and you have certain players that go to certain teams and they create dynasties. And I feel like in football especially, just because we're talking about Mahomes, it's hard to do that. It's extremely hard just because you need all 22 players, offense and defense, to kind of step up and be that team together. So to see what Tom Brady did with the Patriots and now what Mahomes doing with the Chiefs, I mean, it's impressive. And I mean, you don't have to like it, but you just have to sit back and admire it.
I have a question. I'm going to ask Aidan if you
Oh
don't
my
mind.
goodness, flip
Okay.
the script.
I'm going to ask Aidan. Aidan, Do you think it's more impressive for a team to be a dynasty or a player to be a dynasty? Tom Brady with the Patriots, and then Tom Brady with the Buccaneers.
Right.
He moved on,
brought his
but he
winning
moved
ways.
on to success.
Yep.
He left the Patriots in the rear view. What's more impressive, the individual success or success as an individual on a team, Aidan?
That's a very good question. I think it still requires a team to buy into maybe what Tom Brady is saying, because I know he's talked about quite often how he tries to get to know every single player, every single employee. It doesn't matter whether they're the janitor or they're the top guy. It's important for someone to go in and embrace greatness, like you had mentioned. But for Tom, or I call him Tom, obviously.
Because you go to lunch with him every Tuesday.
We're good
First name
guys.
basis.
Yeah. For Tom Brady, people understand that he knows how to win, and because of that, they're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna just take what he has to say, and roll with it." And I think that's why he won with the Bucs, because it still takes the team. I don't think necessarily that it was all Tom Brady, and I think it could have gone a different way with the Bucs. Obviously, they fell short not too long after that. So I would say that it still requires the team. I don't think so much. It's very rare that you see something like that happen for Tom Brady's instance, where he went from one team winning and then just continued it with another. I think the team continuity is more important, and hopefully we see that with the Marist basketball team going to the MAACs.
You think, what is greatness? Is it result, championships? Is it individual player performance, points scored, touchdowns scored? Or, what we don't talk about here, finance. I mean, these players are getting paid serious dollars, right?
Yeah.
To play the game at the highest level. That could be, I mean, people don't like to say, like, oh, you're a sellout. If you had the opportunity to sign these mega contracts, you would. Whether you're labeled a sellout, what do you think of that, Susie?
So we can backtrack to the MLB when Soto signed and did all of that. I know, Marissa, you're very upset about that one.
Hit too
But
close to home.
sometimes you have your family and you have your home, and it's you can't go other places for the money, so you can be better, because you can be better in your own space. And that's all.
The Dodgers are super
That's what I was gonna
relevant
bring
with
up.
that, and they're going to become
Yeah.
a dynasty there, because everyone, and that's a non-salary cap league, but everyone is going to the Dodgers because they're getting the same amount of money that they can get with a different team. They just happen to be in a more competitive environment with the Dodgers.
And they know they'll win.
Right.
So who wants the same amount of money and winning? To win-win, you take it.
To win.
I take it.
I personally would rather, players choose to be competitive and try to beat those guys.
You say that sitting in this chair, though,
No,
right?
of course. But if you can get that same money and say go to the Orioles, an up-and-coming team, and try to take them over the top, I think that's more impressive than going to the Dodgers, who are already the odds-on favorite, and winning the championship there. But that's how dynasties happen. You have greatness, and more people want to be a part of that, and that's how it begins.
May I ask you all a hypothetical question? Would you
That's what
rather
the segment's
be?
about.
Love the
questions.
hypotheticals here.
Would you rather be the person that goes to the Dodgers and you're making all that money and whatever, or would you rather be a Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, your team falls short every year, you have the big contract, but you're not making it?
What league? I feel like that's a big differential. NFL, MLB, or
MLB, NFL.
MLB, NFL.
League doesn't matter to me.
I disagree with you.
It
I
kinda
want the
does.
championship.
Okay.
I don't care what the league is. So in that case, I would want to be on the best team, which I guess kind of counters what I just said. But I think as a professional athlete, which I'm not, you have the confidence that, hey, I can beat these guys on any given day with the team that I'm around. But personally, yeah, I would want the championship, which is why it's so easy to go to a team.
So
like
you'd
the
rather
Dodgers.
be just another great versus carrying the team on your back?
Yeah.
If I
I don't
Ooh,
know.
I don't know.
I'm on your side here.
Yeah.
without the
I want the-
championship,
I
I'm
want the
always
city
I'm an
hero.
NBA guy, so I'll give you the hypothetical there. If I'm a beloved six-man, take Lou Will,
Yep.
or take Pat Bev.
Yep.
Pat Bev, no. Lou Will.
Yep.
Perfect
Jamal
example.
Crawford.
Pulling them
Jamal
out of your
Crawford.
shirt right now.
Perfect. You are loved at a team.
Yeah.
You are loved. You do your job. There's no media pressure. There's no, anti-hate. There's no whatever. You love where you are. Unfortunately, sometimes that type of player does, get traded. But if you stay as a solid player, like Chris Middleton, he just got traded. He was Milwaukee. Giannis was Milwaukee, but Chris Middleton if you are a true, ball knower,
Yeah.
Giannis and Chris Middleton are one. Chris Middleton left, but he's going to be remembered as an all-time great.
He has a championship.
He has a championship. He did his job. So I think you want to be known as this city player. And in Chris Middleton's case, or in these players, they get paid at these places since they're so well-loved. They play well. They don't need to leave. They'll get money there, too. They're on Supermax contracts.
From the falling short aspect is what she was talking about. I don't know if I necessarily want to. Oh, that's a tough question.
You don't
But
want to live in Milwaukee.
No, Milwaukee. I don't like cheese enough. I like cheese, but just not enough.
Really?
Yeah.
I would take all the cheese they can give me.
And wear the cheese head?
No, I eat Gouda. Anti-cheese?
Anti-cheese.
Anti-cheese?
Anti-dairy.
Anti-cheese.
Take a lactate and suck it up, right?
Those don't work. Not strong enough.
Oh, God.
Well, thank you guys for joining. Aidan Asks. I asked. They all answered. I appreciate everyone tuning into this episode. Will, you got any closing remarks?
Closing remarks? I think we can only say one thing.
What's that?
Next episode, we're going to have a cheese platter.
Oh, no.
That'd
I'm
be
sick that
interesting.
day.
With some bread?
Snow day.
Bread, we'll have Aiden, and he'll give us a whole example
That's
of
right.
cheeses. So he'll
turn
A
it
bring us-
into a food
charcuterie
review
board,
guy.
a Super Bowl themed
Yeah,
charcuterie
after the Super
board.
Bowl, ready? No way, the Chiefs won?
No.
No, don't say
Or,
that.
oh my God, the Eagles really did it.
Yes.
The Eagles really did it. It's the biggest
The
blowout
Eagles
you've ever
did
seen
it.
in the Super
Everyone's
Bowl.
so
Travis
happy.
Kelce proposed to Taylor Swift.
No, why would you say that? Because that's not what I want at all.
I don't either, but we know it's gonna happen.
If he
So
does
we'll do
that,
a
he
cheese
gets
platter,
taken
the
over.
Chiefs will win, or the Eagles will win, and we'll have a
Eagles
great
will
time. Right, Aiden?
I love it.
We'll play
Sounds
some
like a plan.
Kendrick and SZA and have a great day.
Yeah.
It's the student section. We're doing new things. Aiden, thank you. Thank you to all
for
our
having us.
guests.
Thank you for
And
having
we will
us.
see you in a few weeks. Take care.